Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we are super happy to have you here, and we just ask that you bring an open mind and heart to your listening experience and to be prepared to explore vantage points that I'm convinced will help shift or solidify your current understanding of the ultimate nature of reality. While listening, you'll be exposed to inspiring, empowering, and unifying perspectives that I'm highly confident will yield stellar results in your life if you opt to try them on for size. Also, at optimistic.tv, we have officially begun releasing the first few episodes of our new late-night style, consciousness-elevating video variety talk show, Optimistic, which features live visionary art, soul share interviews, retreat guests here at the Mystic Manor, as well as live musical performances. I'm also super excited to announce that we are currently making plans to release the rest of Season 1 on my personal favorite online streaming service. So stay tuned to optimistic.tv to follow the unfolding development of this exciting Optimistic expansion, as we'll be posting more info and release dates there soon. And in the meantime, be sure to check out, of course, the first few episodes at optimistic.tv as well.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am coming to you from the coast in Oregon, and I actually just spent the last few days in Mount Shasta, magical Mount Shasta. If you've been listening to this podcast for a while, you've heard me talk about Mount Shasta before and how much I love it. And I seem to come here at least once a year. It's like I got to get my Mount Shasta fix in. This mountain called me about 4 years ago. And what I mean by that is I heard the call to come to this mountain. It was like, you have to go to Mount Shasta. You have to go to Mount Shasta. It was just a feeling. And every time I would hear the name come up, it just resonated within me like, yes, I need to go to that place. And when I wound up coming here for the first time, I met my partner and soulmate. So there was many reasons for that call. And every time I come here, I'm reminded of it. And I just love this place so much that I just want to share a few things about it with you. And also, we're going to talk about higher self and intuition today, because that is what this place reminds me of. Because my first experience with Mount Shasta was actually under hypnosis. I didn't know that this was the place I was in, but if you've ever heard me tell my blue orb story, that happened in Panther Meadows in Mount Shasta. And so I came to Mount Shasta before I was ever physically here in this life anyway. And this place is just always, always, always special. I always see when I come here, there's always bluebirds. And it seems as if they follow me around. They are wherever I am. And the bluebird is another aspect or a symbol of the blue orb. And it's so beautiful when I see them here, because it's just like family saying hello and welcoming me home. These beautiful signs from nature that we talk about all the time, helping us to remember who we are. And speaking of the beautiful birds in this area, I was lucky enough to, for the first time in my life, see a bald eagle in her nest. A bald eagle in her nest. It was so amazing. And I was also able to go to one of the most amazing waterfalls I've ever seen in my life. It's called Moss Spray Falls. If you ever come up to this area, that is a must see. You have to take this walk down the train tracks for about a mile or so. And move over if there's a train coming, because that does happen. But it's well worth it once you get there. It's a fairyland. It is a 100% fairyland. Like, this whole place, Mount Shasta land, is a fairyland. And you can see them. You can see them in your mind. I don't see them physically, but I feel them, and I know they're around. I see them around in my mind. Another thing that happened here that was very beautiful, there's a certain plant that I am very attracted to. And it's a weed that grows around here very, very wild. And there's a lot of it. And it's called mullein. And what's funny is I've always pronounced it wrong. I've always called it mullein, which is wrong. And there was this mullein plant sitting out, growing outside of the house we were staying at the first night. And he started talking to me. So the spirit of this plant is a very short, fat, round, very wise, gnome-like fairy. And I think there's just something about this place that just makes these spirits so clear. And he told me how to pronounce the plant's name properly, mullein. And I might not even be saying it right, but that's what he told me it was called. And he also told me how we could use it. And he showed me that by showing me parts of him. And so he showed me that he was strong, and he was sturdy, and he was wise, and he was stable. And so that made me think of our immune system and how we are, when we're round, we're protected. That layer of fat is a protection. And the way he said, he was just so strong and sturdy. And so I thought, okay, great, you're good for the immune system. And what else? Well, not only is he strong and sturdy, but he's very, very soft and subtle, because the softness of his leaves, it's like velvet. And so he showed me that his leaves could be used for the skin, for different skin ailments. And so, of course, I go and I look it up later to see if that's true. And it is. And what's beautiful about it is, thinking about what's going on in the world right now with coronavirus, I learned that this plant is antiviral and wonderful for the respiratory system. It's a plant that will actually help to break up mucus and get it out. And so if any one of you or anyone you know is having symptoms of the respiratory tract, this is a beautiful herb to work with. And so I thought I would share with you that experience I had with this plant spirit up here on the mountain, and also share with you how I trust that, because I didn't always. I always thought, am I crazy talking to plants or talking to these spirits? And now I know that I'm not. I know that I'm hearing, and I'm hearing clearly. And this took me a long time, because I was under the impression that my higher self was something outside of me for a long time. And when I finally learned that it's not something outside of me, it's not this angelic being that hovers over me and takes care of me and does things for me, well, that is true on a certain level. What's more true is that our higher self is us. It is another aspect of us, another layer of our onion in a higher dimensional plane. All is happening now. And what I find a lot lately with some of my QHHT clients, and if you guys don't know what that is, if you haven't been listening to any of the shows I've done for a while, I talk about this all the time, but quantum healing hypnosis technique is a technique that I do that was developed by Dolores Cannon, And this is a healing technique that gets you in touch with your higher self very, very easily and shows you what that contact is. And really, all that is your intuition. Your higher self speaks to you through your intuition. We all are intuitive. Every single one of us. We were born this way. Every single one of us. If you don't believe that you are intuitive, it's just because you haven't worked with it yet. But you are. This is a gift that we all have. Think about it like this. We have a left brain and we have a right brain. The left brain is very analytical. It's the thinker. It's the analyzer. It wants to figure everything out and know and control, right? The right side of the brain, we know it to be the creative side, the fun side, the imaginative side. Yes, it is also the intuitive side. The right side of the brain is where our intuition speaks to us from. It's also interesting to note that our imagination, also coming from this side, helps us to manifest everything. Infinite potential is within the power of our imagination. And this is all contained on the right side of the brain. And so when we think about our higher self and our higher self speaking to us, sometimes we might want to think like it sounds like something different or a different voice or almost like it will take over. And like when we think of channeling, it's something that just takes over. Well, that's not necessarily how it works. That little voice inside you, inside your head, that you hear all of the time, guiding you, not the one that's telling you the fearful things or giving you the doubts, right? It's the side that's telling you how much it loves you and how much you can trust in the world and how much you can be grateful and have joy. Your intuition is always guiding you and loving you. It's that loving part of your brain. It is when you think about what your intuition is and how you hear it, it's the very first thing. So when I ask you a question and you answer with the very first thought that comes to your mind, that is your intuition. If you hear the first thought and then you analyze it and think, no, that's not quite it. That's not what I want to, that's not it. That's not what I want. I don't see it that way. Well, your higher self a lot of times has other plans. Well, so then we'll ignore that and we'll shush away that thing that we first heard, completely not realizing that was our intuition talking to us. And so I've been seeing this a lot come up in my sessions where when someone's higher self is speaking to them, they get a bit confused because they feel like, well, hold on a second, that's me. And so sometimes two things happen. One thing can be, I hear my higher self and oh my goodness, that's me. That realization of, that's me. This has been within me the whole time. Oh my goodness, right? So that happens. The other thing that can happen is, oh, that was just me. That was me saying that the whole time. That's all it was my own thoughts. Yes, your higher self is in your head. It is your thoughts. It's just which part of the brain are you listening to? This access is all the time. Yes, it's easier in meditation, even easier in hypnosis and trance, but this access is within you all the time. You don't need something special to allow you to access it because it is part of your beingness. And so you can practice getting into a quiet space and just focusing on your breath, in and out. And if you're distracted or having thoughts, try listening to all of the sounds around you. Just listen to the birds, the sound of the street, the cars going down, Any sound, a wind chime, just listen to all those sounds and focus on your breath. And then, when you're ready, ask a question and listen for the very first thing that comes and trust that very first thing that comes. Trust, that's a big one. We got to learn to trust it. We got to learn to trust ourselves, because that's what it really comes down to, trusting ourselves. For me, trusting myself has been hard because I screw up a lot. I make a lot of mistakes. I make a lot of bad decisions. And so I have a hard time trusting myself. But I'll tell you what, that's because I fight with my intuition and I want to do what my conscious mind wants to do. But when I listen to the intuition, I can trust it because I know it never, ever, ever leads me astray. And I know that because when I do listen to it, everything works out. It's when I don't that I make the bad decisions. And so it takes a little practice and a lot of trust, but the trust takes a little practice. But you get there. You get there by doing it, little by little. And the more you can allow your intuition to guide you, the more you will have the most amazing, magical experiences and meet the most amazing, magical people. Like, I went to the Mount Shasta headwaters, pretty much went there every day that I was up here because that's how we get our drinking water when we're here. We go to the headwaters and we fill our water jugs and we have beautiful, fresh Mother Gaia Mount Shasta water. And that definitely aids to the vibration of being in this place. But one day we met a really nice young man. And if you're ever there, there's lots of people selling crystals or jewelry that they have made. And I say lots, there's usually one or two. But we walked by this young man and he offered that the baby could take any crystal that he wanted for free because he likes to give things to babies. And we said thank you and that we would see him on the way out because we would be there for a while and the baby was already running down to the water. And on the way out, we stopped and talked to him for a little bit. And Brian tried to give him a couple bucks just to say thank you for the crystal. And he wouldn't take it. He said, no, thank you. I don't need that. I really just wanted to give him a crystal for free because it heals the world. And when babies have these crystals, it's the most healing thing ever. And so I just love to give them away. And I could have cried on the spot because that is the kind of energy we need in this world. Everywhere, just so much love and so much giving. Giving of your heart and soul to a complete stranger. It's so beautiful. And I really do believe that when we can trust ourselves and listen to our intuition more and know that we're not crazy if we're talking to the fairies, then, life feels better. You feel at ease, doesn't feel so heavy, and a lot of joy can come in. So I think that's it for me today, y'all. I just wanted to share those experiences with you and share a little bit about what communicating with our higher self really is. It's you. It's your voice inside your head. It's that guidance that is always, always with you. And I want us all to learn to trust it more. Trust it so much more because it will never let you down. And a little bit of practice goes a long way. Remember to love yourself and just be easy. Be easy and be easy on yourself at all times. Your higher self always is. And when you need that guidance, just get quiet and ask. Don't forget to ask. It's always there. It's part of you. All in this now. I love you all so much. I'm going to leave you with a song. This is the Drum Spider remix of Dea Dova's Symbiotic. Until next time, everyone, I love you all.
And if you're feeling the call to come for a week retreat style Mystic Manor immersion, remember to go now and book your time to speak with me directly about stepping into the optimistic vortex at calendly.com/talk with Brandon while there are still spots left. Otherwise, I look forward to co-creating magic with you at the Mystic Manor.
Beautiful.